different. You see, I'm standing. No. I haven't closed. I'm doing something different today because I have a unique man. This man, he's been called the wonder pianist. He's a wonder to behold. He's a master keyboardist. He's a producer. He's a composer, and he has played any person of substance you can think of. He's played with. You know, he's played with Osibisa. He's played with Lionel Richie. He's played with Westlife, Mario Kante, and so many other fantastic artists. I'm going to be talking to him. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, show some love, and welcome Isaac Aryee. There you go.
Let's do this thing again. How do you do this thing again? I'm watching. Is it? There.
Please.
Hello.
Folks, today, I'm sitting here for this interview, man, because I want to be close to the action, man.
Yeah?
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you.
Oh,
Finally.
Man. Finally.
Watch it.
I remember your good friend Bernard Aryee called me. Did you go to school together with him?
Well, he went to school with me. I think it's the other way around. Because I was my junior for like 2 years. So yeah.
So he went to school with you?
With me.
Okay. And he said, "Charlie, Isaac Aryee is in town, man." And I won't pretend I knew, but she sent me the information about you. I said, "Why don't I know this guy? Where have you been?"
I'm shocked. I don't even know why you don't know me.
I'm like, where? Yeah, where have I been? What do you do? But like you're like a musical genius, man. You've played with the greats, and your inspiration started with Ray Ellis.
Kwame Ellis.
Yes.
Many years ago. Well, I'm not that old, by the way. But this was Jamestown.
You grew up in Jamestown?
I grew up in Jamestown. Yeah,
Okay.
Jamestown, Watto. And I remember there were those little transistor radios, and every noon, you know, I hear this piano, this sound, you know. Yeah.
So you're hearing this?
I was hearing these things, you know, and then I lived with my grandmother. Probably one of the best things in life, growing up with your grandmother. So I said, "Grandma, what is that thing, that sound?" So I said, "It's called sanku," because we're guns, so we are guns. So she was gone. And it says, "That's called sanku." I said, "Okay, good." So every noon, I expected to hear the sound of this sanku. So one day, it changed to another sound, same person.
Okay.
So it became, I think. Yeah. Something like that. Never played it. Whoa. Okay, so I knew what a sanku sounded like, so that was it. Naturally, you know, we forget about it. So that's how I got introduced to it.
Really?
Yeah, I was inspired by Ghanaian homegrown musicians.
Ray Ellis.
Yeah, Ray Ellis.
Ray Ellis. Wow.
Probably the best album I've ever heard. You know, it's a shame it's not out there. It's called Keyboard Africa. You know, I really pray that we really put it back on the shelf of African Ghanaian genius production. So
So you wanted to play this sanku?
I wanted to play the sanku. If only I could play that song with it, I'd have been satisfied then. But that was it. But you know, growing up there, I mean, there were no sankus lying around anywhere. So that level of luxury was not there. So I think the breakthrough happened mid-80s. My dad popped by, and I overheard him talking to my grandmother. I said, okay, I think I should take him with me. What do you think? So when I had take him with me, I thought, oh, goodness, they're taking me away from my grandmother. But no, he was taking me to Canada.
Oh, he was in Canada?
Yes, he was taking me to Canada. Yeah, that's a big break there. So we arrived, you know, in Calgary, and out of the airport, sat in my uncle's car, my dad's younger brother, and I heard the sound of a sanku again, but it was different. I heard this. Something like that. So I said, yeah, that's the sanku.
That's a sanku.
But then it's different. It wasn't necessarily better than Kwame Ellis. It was just different.
But it was different.
So then, but I think what that did for me was made me realize and affirm to myself that, you know what, I'm in love with that instrument, that sound, and I want to play it or do that thing they do with it to get the sound. So I asked my dad then, my dad's brother, I beg your pardon, and said, what's the name of that sound in English? And he said piano. And I think the love affair began.
Really?
Then, and
so until then, they just used the sanku.
It was called sanku. Sanku, something, you know, somebody makes music out of it. But
so interesting.
Yeah, it's a very fortunate love affair that actually was right from the beginning. I said many people don't get the goals or aims or dreams right from the word go. It's just that I was very fortunate to align perfectly what I was meant to do or meant to be, I believe, and that just completely took off from there.
So you decided then that you wanted to get this to piano?
I wanted to do this professionally.
Really?
And it became a long story. Coming back to Ghana, I went to a school called St. Anthony's, and those days there were some mathematical sets.
Yeah,
you know,
the math set.
But it was a different one. It was a bit posher than the, you know, the normal ones, the metal one that gets rusty over time. No. This one was plastic, and you have some keyboard taps on there, some musical notations on there. And in assembly at school, there would be this head teacher who would teach us hymns every morning. But we would never taught the words to the hymns till we finished mastering the solfa. So you do like a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So he just keep doing stuff like mi, mi, re, do, so, la, so, fa, mi, and you know, I'd be like, oh heaven, when is this gonna end? But later he'll say, abide with me, fast falls the eventide. So, but then I didn't know that mi were the building blocks of music called the tonic solfa. So just randomly, okay, by chance, I managed to grab one of those little sets belonging to a friend. I just happened to take it home for once, and I saw a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do on there. So I remember this man kept saying mi, mi, re, do. So I just went on the same set and went like that. I said, oh, bingo. Okay, fast forward another few years, my uncle invites me to his house, another uncle in Ghana, Cantonment, a step up from Jamestown, and they had actually a keyboard there, and somebody had actually drawn the names of the notes, the same do, re, mi on there, and we're watching The Sound of Music, you know, with Maria and the Von Trapp kids singing. Have you noticed why he sings do? It's do, re, mi, name, call myself fa, so ended up putting there. Last, so he was actually singing and teaching them using the tonic solfas as well. So that, you know, everything came, it was by divine orchestration, everything just, I had this little angel teaching me in bits how to do it. So the first time I came in contact with a real sanku, which was my uncle's house, I could actually play. And then that obviously took it to another level until dreams grow, your toys become more expensive as you get older. And then started meeting probably two of the most amazing people I've met in my life that shaped my music. Actually, there were three people, and we'll get to that in a minute if you know. So that's basically how it happened.
Wow, amazing. So who are the people that?
Okay, one of them is probably most enigmatic, amazing figure to ever arise from this part of the world. His name is Kiki Jan.
Kiki Jan.
I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
I interviewed him actually.
Wow.
Yes.
What was it? You that many years ago, I was holding a guitar, wasn't it? When you did that interview,
yes,
was it that?
Yes.
See, that's the interview I watched on TV, and I said, yes, that's my man. Does anybody know? It's like we had actually met then, and I said to him, you know what? I want to be like you. And before I met him, there was this documentary interview in Ghana on Osibisa. And I was just in love. You remember those days when you be the airwaves would just be like, is it what's the song? I was like, oh, that's all you could hear on the airwaves. And I just fell in love. The fact that they actually originated from Ghana and were doing miracles, like wonders outside of Ghana. I felt like, you know what? The myth that you had to be out to do well was completely squashed, so I could actually make it even in Ghana.
Yeah.
And then who did I meet after? Kiki. So we forged this wonderful relationship where he started teaching me, and then I confessed to my mom now on TV, because he actually ended up moving into my little room in the house secretly, because the rule was no Kiki or you are out. So he would pop in late. Fortunately for me, my gate.
He was teaching you.
Yes, I had a little keyboard then, and he took me through some amazing moments in music where he taught me more about what you don't play rather than what you play. Because remember, when you play, the world listens to you. It's not about you entertaining yourself. Yes, you love it, but you are you have the opportunity to sell a story for 1, 2, 3 hours to people, and they've pre-believed it, if there's a word like that, before they get to see you. So you must respect that the audience is not stupid. They are just buying time. They're just buying your time. So they know it's fantasy, but for once in everybody's life, they are willing to buy that fantasy for however long you're playing for them. So play for them. And the secret to playing for an audience is what you don't play, not what you play. So he started with this beautiful song. I don't remember the...
That's what friends are for.
So that's the kind of thing. So he taught me how to play that song so simply. And he taught me how to deconstruct music. So, he used to call me Laughing Boy because I was always laughing about nothing. Basically, I laughed at my own jokes. So he said, hey, listen, Laughing Boy, check this out. Play it simply. So if you can deconstruct it to the nearest nothing, the song means something to you. Wow. Then you can put genius around it. Because the secret to genius is not what you can do. It's what you don't know will happen. Wow. And you must learn to conjure that up from nowhere.
Deep, man.
So Kiki John, rest in peace, man. That.
Wow.
KSM, that for me. So, yeah. Wow.
Kiki. Wow. And the other two?
The other one, Danny Nete.
Oh, Danny Nete.
The late.
Amazing, rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in perfect peace as well. So, I met this figure in church once, and I heard this man sing, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I could see he taking something from gospel, but something from outside gospel, and just managed to fuse it together so perfectly. The wonderful musical tapestry. And I said, wow, I'd like to be like this, man. But he could actually play as well. You know, this is for 25 years, probably 26 years then. And I said, I want to be like this, man. So I think he may have heard about me then, because I was the little kid that was doing a lot of things, then playing for everybody. I used to ghost on a lot of albums, believe it or not. My mom would send me to school. I'll skip school and go to studios. I won't say the names because mom was going to shoot them. No. I'll actually go and ghost on a lot of the tracks you've heard.
Really?
It's actually ghosts. So ghosting is when the person who takes the money for the gig doesn't really turn up, and they send an understudy to go and play it, and their name shows up on the album, and there are songs I've played.
Name shows up. Okay.
Yeah, so there are a lot of albums that I've read that I had to ghost, but that was also part of the training. So meeting Danny, he'd heard about some of my work, and he said, oh, is that the kid you've been talking about? So he sent someone for me. So I was at home, and one of the people actually helped me in my musical career. His name is Reverend Alford. He's now in Lighthouse. And he said, listen, Danny wants to see you. You know, that was scary. It's like, can you imagine the great gospel icon that was asked to see me? So yeah, went with him. Easy bus ride from my house to Mataiko, North Canada at that time. So I went there and he greeted me. Then I just got scared. I became afraid then. Then he says, yeah, your name, blah, blah, you know, sit there. And then he brings out this little keyboard. And I became even more afraid. It's like, what are you doing with the keyboard? So, well, now you play for me. And then I became more afraid. And as I started playing, he started to sing. Then I became even more afraid. Then someone, I think a guest walked into the house. I think it must have been Zap Mallet or something, walked in, you know, they're very close friends, you know. And then he introduced me to Zap, yeah, this is my new keyboardist. Then I became even more afraid. And then my gospel evolution started from there.
Really?
So I was very fortunate, I say. I had two of the greatest enigmatic musician of gospel and the most enigmatic secular musician, Kiki as well.
Wow.
Now the third one. Now, amazingly, the third one doesn't even know.
Doesn't know.
Kojakwa, Marriott International.
Really?
Do you remember? Do you remember Kojakwa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a little secret crush on Princess Act, you know. It was like this little 12-year-old kid holding me to my this lady when I grow up, you know. I was like, wow, and it's like, wow, that guy could play. I don't know if you remember him. He used to like play like different keyboards, play with Credential, Eric Antonio and co. And I used to secretly sneak out to watch, and because Marriott International used to rehearse at North Canada, which was just a walking distance, less than a quarter of a kilometer from where I lived. So it was just easy walk, and I just watched them rehearse, and they rehearsed for hours. You see, there was this work ethic that used to be there. I don't know what's happening today. Back in the day,
yes.
And these men would rehearse, they would train a little song. They will go through it countless times till they got it right. So coming down to this idea of this musical culture that we lack today, I say we struggle the way we are struggling now because of a lack of a culture. Because it was a lifestyle. It was amazing. There were jazz clubs everywhere. Jimmy's Jazz, Ann's Jazz, Baseline Jazz. Remember those days? There were jazz clubs everywhere. And you have Ramabrew doing the happy hour, Tulip. And then Charles Dewar, one of my other mentors. You know, in Tulip.
Yeah.
You know, and what I used to do was I used to ghost on rehearsals for him actually, because he would never turn up at the rehearsals, but he'd be playing at Novotel. So when I finished the rehearsal, then Duo would take over and play. But he trained me well enough to be able to play what he did. So you see, that was the literal quirkiness of the hard work. So that's a little bit of the musical history for me.
Fantastic, man. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So now, what are you doing now?
Now I'm back in Ghana. Obviously, I toured around the world for 17 years constantly.
You played with some greats,
yeah.
Elton John?
Yes, Elton John. Westlife, Lionel Richie, Blue, Will Young, Girls Aloud, Misha Paris, Womack and Womack, Marie Kante.
Womack and Womack.
You
played with all these
people. Oh, yeah.
Man.
You're the man, man. You're the man. You're the man. I want to be like you when I grow up.
Wow.
Yeah, so and that was a part of my life that started in '96. I think 96 when I finished school, pre-sec, by the way.
Pre-sec?
Yeah, man, all of that years.
Okay.
We're not gonna have a
Me too.
So you went to school, basically.
I went to school.
Yeah! You went to school. So let's do that thing again. One, two, three. Yeah! Happy are we? Yeah, we went to school. So now we can talk. See, I knew it was a flow. You see, I was trying to figure out where it came from. Now I get it.
Well, I didn't do all pre-sec. I'm sorry. It was
so as soon as you really go to pre-sec.
Oh, I did.
Don't spoil it.
First year pre-sec, man.
Good enough.
And that's the foundation. So
even if you went there for a day,
but
the other school you went to, they must have been privileged to have you there. Pre-second, you know, come on, man. You know the school. You wish you had finished, hadn't you? Yeah. So
yeah.
So right from pre-sec, London, and the music just started, literally, and ended up doing all the big gigs. You know, it started from very humble beginnings, you know, and there's this idea of waiting and patience that I really pray and hope we have, you know, the youngsters of today have. It took a long time to get my first shot, but the thing is, when you do get that first shot, you better be ready.
Yeah,
it's all about attitude, character, before skill. Because everybody can play.
Yeah.
Everybody can play.
Yeah.
You don't become good because you are amazing. You become good because the opportunity came and you actually took advantage of it. And you used it.
Fantastic.
So that's what it is. So right now, as you said, I'm here, back in Ghana.
Who do you listen to in Ghana? Who's impressing you?
Believe it or not, Shatta.
Shatta?
Yeah, I like Shatta.
Wow.
I like his musical ethic, what he's doing. I like the fact that he's not waiting. He's not waiting for opportunities. He's not waiting for help. He just did his thing. I like Joe Metal for what he's doing with gospel now. I mean, I could hear a lot of Daddy Nete in him because I was with Daddy from the I wouldn't say the very beginning of his stardom, you know, which is early 90s.
Yeah.
I like what Joe Metal is doing, so yes, I'll take Joe Metal any day. I like, I forgot his name, this funny guy, Kofi Kinata.
Okay.
You see, it's just I'm not hearing much of him these days, but I really I like the fact that Ghana, the music industry here hasn't got as much opportunity as you see outside. But now, if these people had a quarter of what these guys have in America and the rest, you know,
can you imagine?
We would rule the world. So I'm really praying, and it all boils down to culture. Culture is everything, you know. Culture is obviously it is precipitated by legend, an emblem, what you see, what's been left behind for you. Culture is what will tell you what the 100-year-old man forgot to tell you, or long after the old man that advised you is gone. Culture is there to carry the story. So the reason why there's this gap, as we just mentioned earlier on, between what we used to do and now, it's not because they're doing anything wrong now. It's because we didn't harness the culture that was left through the blood and toil of our fathers. You know, we somewhere along the line we left it. You know, so I think there were days, you remember, like I said, there'll be a festival every year, the cultural dancing everywhere in schools. There's a band playing there, pop chain, all that kind of stuff. And what happened to it now? So in order to see Ghanaians winning Grammys and Ghanaian musicians and composers featuring on scores of movies and stuff like that, we need to begin to harness a form of culture, at least to start with. Even if we don't live to see it through, to start will be good enough. So that's one
Put your hands together, man. This one is the man.
Thank you,
and you played all these greats, man. Was there like one or two occasions that stand out?
Yeah. Oh, hey, yeah. Two actually. Let me mention a few. First one is when a song I've loved ever since I was a kid. When you hear it again. You know, there's something that happens to you when you walk on the stage and that song begins, if you're fortunate enough to be on the stage.
Yeah.
And any song that's actually a hit, when you start the intro for it, when you hear like 100,000 people scream, just because you're playing it, it's like 100 moments of gratitude, or 100,000 moments of gratitude. And human beings relish nothing more than gratitude. Given gratitude and somebody being grateful for what you do. And I think music is one of the few things on the art entertainment. It's a little thing. It's one of the only few things out there that permits you to give and be grateful for what you've got, and also to be appreciated for what you're doing. And nothing has to change. Money hasn't got to change hands or anything. For somebody walking up to you and saying, "That was great, thank you," you know, and that is what comes out when I play the biggest gigs that I've done. Some of the biggest gigs. So yes, Lionel is one of them. McFly. I don't know if they're very popular out here, but I loved playing with them because they have this relationship with their audience that is family based. Basically, it's amazing. So we used to play for kids. We used to play for 10 years ago when they were 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 25 with their mothers, and they still come to the gigs now. That's amazing. You know that. And so yes, those two people, and obviously being on stage with Danny Neche those days when it mattered, it's like it was difficult to get that kind of, you know, the Neche and the power. We were playing all the doom 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 doom. I mean, can you imagine that? Wow, this little boy with a punk all the way. I managed to grow my hair like a little ship, you know, right there like that, you know. Those moments, they live with you forever, and ultimately, as human beings, as you know, we live for a memory.
Yeah.
Memory is everything, not possession, not legacy, everything. The ultimate precipice of your legacy is a memory, what you're remembered for.
Fantastic.
And music art, I would say, is one of the ways, you know. So
put your hands together, man. Put your hands together. Oh man, I think I'm gonna have you back sometime. We'll do some extended version, man.
That would be good.
This is all the time allows me, but I feel like having scratched the surface. So we'll get you back, man.
Scratch further, sir.
I'll have to stretch further, man, because there's a lot in you, man, and
of course,
it's fantastic.
Any day, I'm
it's
happy
really,
to be
really
here.
Fantastic.
Happy to be here.
So good to have you here. I thank Bernard for calling me. Very, very excited about having you. And I've been reading up since, and I'm like, wow. But you're doing great, man.
Thank you, sir.
You're doing awesome.
Thank you, sir. We hope to do more and
fantastic.
Better.
So you pick your own song and then take us out.
Take you out. Oh boy.
Take us out.
Let me take you out.
Okay.
See, I don't rehearse my songs, so I don't practice them. So I like to give it naturally. So let me see.
Isaac Aryee, man, this guy's he's a genius. He's a genius, and it's been fantastic having you here.
Thank you, sir.
Stick around, folks. We'll be right back.
Stay cognizant for a recrudescence of gratuitous conviviality and merriment.
The KSM Show